are here in Milton at Sandbar State Park, and behind me is an archaeological dig.
The Native American past, there's no written documents, so archaeological sites, they're non-renewable. Each one of them has a story to tell to piece together the Native American past here in the Northeast. I believe this would date to approximately 600 years old. Each site, tells a little bit of a story, another piece of the sort of long history. We've got 12,500 years of Indigenous history here in Vermont, and the majority of it is only told through archaeology.
It took me one to show up on the queue.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, where is it?
Well, basically at this site, we're looking for anything that's pre-contact Native American, pottery, tools, you name it. But what we're finding mostly are the flakes.
Again, just sifting the sand, looking for the artifacts. A lot of them are partially tumbled and water-worn. They stick out pretty easily in this sandy, round soil.
Keeping an eye out for any pottery is the big thing, any big flakes or possibly tools.
The big pile of dirt at the end, that was all put in here in the 1930s, 1933 to 35, when the park was created by the Civilian Conservation Corps. So to find the site initially, we had done a trench through that fill down into the natural levels and then excavated test pits at the bottom of that trench. And we found artifacts representing a Native American occupation. And this style, very similar to pottery that we find up on the St. Lawrence River in Quebec and out over to Ontario. So linking kind of culturally and at least in terms of trade with a broad network of Native people that extended north and extended east to the coast of Maine.
And I'm really excited to be here. I found some pottery earlier and that just felt like a very surreal moment. I found that over there. It was really cool. I just came down on it and I was like, what is that?
Yes, I think they may be from the same pot. We've recovered more of that pottery since, along with a variety of stone tool making debris, with materials coming from as far away as Pennsylvania, Northern Labrador, Northern Quebec, Maine. So showing this social network that Native Americans had in the past. Not a lot preserves to be studied in Vermont because our soils are very acidic. So what we're left with are durable artifacts like clay pottery or stone tools or stone tool debris. Wooden artifacts, textiles, those don't preserve typically to be studied.
The coolest part about this site will probably be the material types and the trade networks and how things got here and where they started out from. It is kind of interesting because it can hide pretty well in this.
These stone materials or flint materials being traded around by Indigenous people, really demonstrating the network of interaction that we can reconstruct using these pieces that we know geologically come from, somewhere in Pennsylvania or come from Northern Labrador. Here in the Champlain Valley, we do have a flint, a chert, that is more darkish, blackish, and Native people were using that a lot, along with quartzite. Quartzite that was quarried down in Moncton, Bristol area. Each one of these representing a meeting of Indigenous people exchanging maybe some Vermont material for some from Northern Quebec or Labrador, also exchanging the story of the creation of where that material came from and cementing a social relationship. But this is an exciting opportunity here because we've got this intact site, which probably was right at the mouth of the Lamoille River in an older outlet for the river. It's changed over time, particularly in the last 500 years, following European settlement, deforestation, and a lot of dynamics at the sort of the delta of the Lamoille River. This one right here actually dates to somewhere around 1,000 years old. So multiple occupations, probably short term, for Indigenous people camping really close to the outlet of the river, right on Lake Champlain. The reason that we're here now is the water table is extremely low. The first year that we were here, it was about a foot higher, 2 feet higher, and the site was really in the water table. So we waited until this dry period to do the archaeology. Yeah, so we have a staff of professional archaeologists here at UVM, former students, recent graduates, as well as some longer-term veterans of our program. and they're excavating. What we do is we work in the metric system. We're doing 1 meter squares at a time, and we will dig down 10 centimeter levels, and we'll divide that 1 meter up into 4 quadrants. This allows us to control exactly where, on kind of a checkerboard-like grid, something is found, as well as the depth. Each shovelful gets screened. We're using an 1/8-inch mesh hardware cloth. Each level, each quadrant is screened, and artifacts are then picked out, if found, picked out of the screen, and then labeled with their specific provenience for later cleaning and cataloging in the laboratory, which we'll do over the winter.
See, now that's on cue. See?
Oh, really?
This one's water worn. It does catch your eye when you can see it. You know, it got the angles on it. I bet you can spot it now. And the first one here
was northeast, and then these two are southeast. So I'm taking over this bucket again.
Minimally between 1,500 and 500 years old, or 400 years old, something like that is what we'll end up with so far. We may find additional material as we go a little deeper. But I think we can safely say these are ancestors of modern Wabanaki, Abenaki people who inhabited the region in the past and do today. These are ancestors of modern living Indigenous people.
Archaeology is inherently destructive, so that's why it's so important to be so careful the first time.
because I did the burials for North Strait, the War of 1812 burials. Obviously like history, but I also like puzzles. We're putting together a puzzle because we're only getting piece here, piece here.
The clock is ticking. We've got 4 days, including today.
This is our last week here. We've opened up a lot of the block of the site. Some of it probably extends under the road, but we're not going to be working in Route 2. This will be the end of the sample before basically a stormwater basin will be built here.
The other fun aspect of it is that when you find something, it's a moment in time that someone was here, they were doing something. Everything has a story. You know, whether it's a piece of pottery or a piece of bottle, or you can always track it back.
It's so interesting seeing history come alive. And we will get stuck in Vermont with you again real soon. And look, I've got my Vermont State Parks t-shirt on.
I think most people hear archaeology and they think of Indiana Jones.
Yeah. Well,
That's what I do.
yeah, you can look at it that way. There's some of that.
We'll see what how it all shakes out at the end, literally.